Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Luis Eric Cuvea. I do apologise, you know I'm absolutely the world's worst with names. And this is in response to Oberheim, an apology and Anderton's get a OB-X8. And Lewis writes, we're living in an exciting time. People are buying or leasing Cadillac Escalades and costing them a house note every month. People are still buying Rolexes even though the prices have skyrocketed. There's a lot of money out there and the OB-X8 will most definitely sell. There's a lot of it's a chance for the wealthy to get their hands on an OB made by Tom and another legend, being Dave Smith. You're getting the sound of discrete circuits plus those Curtis chips. Hopefully they will sell a lot and are profitable. And then they can separate the three synths under the hood for us poorer folks and lower the price on it by a G. LOL. I assume by a G means by a grand. It's basically, there's some very dry wit in that comment, isn't there? Yes, this synth has divided opinion. From those that have said, I will drop £5,000 on a synth, to those that think it is severely overpriced. Time will only tell how good this synth is in terms of sales. It's not about how good it is in terms of sound, it's about how good it is. How many units can you ship through the front door, because that's how you make your profit. The question is, does one company produce the original and another clone the original, and we see the second company laughing all the way to the bank? And in that particular analogy, I'm specifically thinking of a certain company that we all know about whose name begins with B. Next comment or question comes from Stuart Williams. And this was in response to... I haven't written down what this was in response to. And Stuart writes, great video. Was thinking of this myself. But how much can the stand actually take in total? Was wondering about the bottom tier, as the 88 Oasis is at 32.5 kilos. Thanks, John. Alright, so this was in response to one of the Gibraltar keyboard stand videos I've done. Probably the build that I did with Wayne Harris, which is August 2022. Wayne Harris, of course, being the keyboard player with Bon Jovi. So, what I would say is many people have asked this very, very similar question in terms of how much weight can a Gibraltar keyboard stand actually take in reality when you've got various different things or various different keyboards on it. So, the first thing I would say is this stand is extremely strong. Okay, the way that it has been built and designed, and the way that I have augmented the stand for Wayne makes it extremely strong. And not only are the poles clamped in place, but towards the end of the video, which I did with Wayne, you would have saw us put in additional clamps onto the supporting poles. So remember, these poles are in compression, so they ain't going anywhere. They're very, very strong in compression. And then I put additional clamps on there to stop any movement of the poles that are cross clamping, if you like, up and down. So they're not going anywhere. So that's what you would have seen me doing. So it makes it very, very strong in practice. The clamps also make it much easier to put the stand together and take the stand down very quickly. And there is a video of me doing that in under 5 minutes. Well, actually, I think it's less than 5 minutes, but there's a video of me actually showing you how to take this thing to pieces and put it back together very, very quickly. Anyway, so a few years ago, what I did, and I actually have done another video about this, but a few years ago, what I did was I put a plank of wood across the lower tier and I sat on it, and then I repeated this piece actually not long ago to Canberra, in fact in 2022 when I was doing the work with Wayne, just to show how strong this keyboard stand is. So at that point in time when I did it a few years ago, I was over 120 kilos. Okay, last year when I did it, I was probably around about 110 kilos. I'm considerably less than that now. I'm much, much lighter than I was then. And I also had I've had a Korg Oasis 88 on it. I've had a Roland A80 on it at the same time. And on both occasions, I've had no issues with the keyboard stand supporting the weight. The one key thing about the keyboard stand is the only weak point about it is not compression. So when I'm talking about compression, I'm talking about, you know, if the pole's there and the keyboard's on there, it's not in that plane. The issue is a moment, which is a twisting moment. So you've got to make sure that you don't have the poles that run in this horizontal effectively too far over the feet of the stand. Now, if you look at the way that I've designed my stand and the way that Wayne's stand is designed, you find there's actually very little overhang of that bottom tier that would generate any sort of moment. But with the middle tier and the top tier, or in a two-tier orientation, the second tier, with a keyboard on that, it kind of balances the whole thing up anyway. It's all kind of physics, and I don't want to go into physics because it kind of sounds a bit boring. But you know, believe me, I've bounced up and down on the Gibraltar keyboard stand, and it will take my weight. So if you're thinking about putting a serious master keyboard onto your Gibraltar stand, whether it be a Kronos, a Montage, or the big Phantom rather than the Phantom O, I don't think you're going to have a problem. If you're thinking about saying, I actually want 2 big boards on my Gibraltar stand, I still don't think you've got a problem. And if you're thinking of saying, actually, I want 3 big boards on my Gibraltar stand, I don't think you've got a problem with that, because each one of those keyboards is going to be circa 30 kilos possibly. And therefore, if I was 120 kilos and I was bouncing up and down on this thing trying to break it, you still got over 30 kilos in the bank to play with. And I don't know what the actual total load factor for a Gibraltar stand would be, but I can tell you now, it's considerably more than me at 120 kilos. So 3 master keyboards, workstation, heavy boards at 30-ish kilos doesn't really affect it. If you're going to put a master on the bottom and then 2 smaller keyboards on it, you have no problems whatsoever.